Welcome into DC On Screen, your guide to the DC Universe on film and television. This is episode 247. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This, a guy whose idea of a 3-day bender is a Futurama marathon. My co-host, Jason Goss.
Hi.
So, howdy guys. We are back from a lot of technical difficulties that's been going on.
And
Hopefully.
I have at least an interim fix. Our buddy Matt has basically loaned me his entire gig. Like, all of it. I went and picked up everything.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't
have anything.
So much to Matt. Thank you, Matt Carroll of the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast.
Yep.
For the help.
Yeah.
In that regard. Oh my lord. I don't know what's been going on, man.
I don't know. I've still got parts coming. We're not to the end of this yet.
I suspect Mercury might be in retrograde. That's what I've heard.
I know. I felt like a walking EMP for days.
So we have a lot of news to jump through. This is our DCEU news episode because we split those up now in case anybody didn't listen last week. And if you didn't, how dare you? What the hell, man? So we are, before we jump into the news, we are sponsored by Loot Crate. And with Doctor Strange coming out, and we'll say because of Ragman on Arrow, even though it's probably not even, doesn't have anything to do with it. But,
yeah, but I'll throw it in.
Loot Crate's theme this month is magic. It's the magical theme.
Of course it is.
So, if you are on a quest for epic gear, housewares, and collectibles, then Loot Crate offers an epic range of pop culture items for less than $20 a month. If you're more of a fanatical fashionista, then Lootwear, the monthly wearables and accessories subscription, will fill your closet with cult classics and your favorite franchises. And if you want to get fancy, get a bigger box with even bigger loot with Loot Crate DX. So ready your wands, pre-measure your positions, and get ready for November's enchanting theme, Magical. They've cast a powerful ancient spell to deliver you this 100% exclusive crate featuring bewitching items from Doctor Strange, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Big Trouble in Little China. There's another one of those weird selections.
Yeah, that is a strange duck.
They're going to keep doing this to us. I wonder if they just heard our show and decided, you know what? We're going to put something weird in there every time now.
I would be honored by that.
I would. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, you are done. Make sure to head over to lootcrate.com/GiantSizeTeamUp. Enter code GiantSizeTeamUp to save $3 on any new subscription. And we are done with the filthy lucre segment. Let's talk about this Lego Batman trailer that dropped. I guess it's technically Lego Batman trailer number 4. I am still not totally on board. I will watch it. I'm going to go see it. There's no hint that I might not.
Do not. Don't muddle yourself with suspense that he might not make it to that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's happening. It's just I'm not entirely as enthusiastic as everyone else is. This trailer, for the first time, I actually laughed more than chuckle.
Yeah. And to get specific, the Joker tearing up when he realizes he's not the only villain, that was a laugh out loud.
Yeah. Come catch your greatest enemy. Superman is my greatest enemy. Superman's not a bad guy. Then I'd say I don't have a bad guy. I am fighting a few different people. I like to fight around.
He just, the Joker just hears this and tears up. That was good.
Just the quivering lip. Yeah. The quivering lip was amazing.
Oh, I swear there was some glistening on those Lego eyeballs.
Oh, yeah. And I'm actually excited to see Zach Galifianakis do the Joker. This seems like an interesting take on the Joker. I am annoyed that Barbara Gordon is just going to be the commissioner suddenly. We don't know Batgirl? Oracle? That's weird. It's weird.
You know something I can tell you outright about the Lego movies?
They don't care about canon at
all. You'll never hear me. No, you're never going to hear me say I'm annoyed by anything. There's no stakes here for me.
Well, you know what? The reason it's odd to me is because Barbara Gordon is Batgirl in the comic books.
Well, sure.
Right now. And on the DC Superhero Girls, she's Batgirl.
Right.
The branding all across the board says Batgirl, 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 Batgirl. And then to be except she's Commissioner Gordon in the Lego Batman movie that exactly 0 people are going to go see. No, right. Wait, this is going to be seen by every damn body and their mothers. So I don't get it, but whatever. I laughed at Batman trying to figure out his input settings on his TV.
Yeah, that was good.
I did like the line, I can only imagine he's going home to be surrounded by friends and lady activewear models.
Yeah.
Why did you build this thing with one seat? Last I checked, I only had one butt.
Mm-hmm.
That was all right. So, some fun things for the trailer. I did enjoy parts of it. Other things left me going, what the hell.
It will be impossible to disappoint me with this thing. Just impossible.
Speaking of disappointments, and apparently I am the only person who feels this way, I was disappointed by the second Wonder Woman trailer.
You are the only person
You may
who feels
now,
that way.
you may now stab me in the back. Tell me that I'm...
She was so cool in this trailer, it made me want to trade gingers so I could be her.
I think it was overhyped, like, for me.
I heard no
Because,
hype.
yeah,
Well,
I
I mean,
do-
all right, we had they had the, like, it's a red line. Okay. I mean, I got that where there was, like, some hype that there was going to be a trailer, but not
Absolutely.
overhyped. I mean, maybe I just didn't catch the
I
hype.
don't know. I sort of just, it was, I saw a lot of hype because, I put all the news up on the sites and everything.
Yeah. You probably had to crawl through a lot more hype than I did, but it looked visually fantastic. Themyscira looked gorgeous.
I had to crawl through 3 football fields of
Full
hype.
of hype on your knees.
Yeah, I mean, it looked fine. It didn't look too, they didn't really expound upon that first trailer they showed us, really at all. Almost.
No, I mean, if you were looking for more hints at the story, you didn't get them here. I mean,
yeah.
I don't suppose we needed them. They may have just learned their lesson from BVS, where they gave us the outline of the story.
I mean, we still don't know who that general is, assuming it's Ares, we still don't really know who the lady with the mask is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone seems to be assuming she's Dr. Poison.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess that's who it would be. It makes sense.
Well, I can roll with that for now. Fine.
I kind of, chuckled at the line that Chris Pine says, like, whatever. What did he say exactly? The war to end all wars. His delivery of that line was poor, and it was cheesy, and I hope that it's not in the movie.
No.
It just was. And you know what bothered me? Lucy Davis at the end. I'm not opposed to engaging in fisticuffs if the time. You know what? They should have cut, instead of her doing that little ha thing she did at the end, whatever the hell that was, they should have actually cut to Etta Candy beating ass, because that's what she did in the comics. They should have just cut to like a barroom brawl with her just like beating ass and Diana being like, oh my god, that's crazy.
That might be something more they say for like trailer 3 right before it comes out.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot colors are beautiful. I'm still like totally on board going to see this thing.
I did hear about a lot of people say like, oh man, all the fucking like Snyder slow-mo. I'm sorry. You're not gonna sell me on that yet. I'm still super happy with the shot. Like the shot where she like jumps out of the foxhole and you get the bullet coming all the way across the battlefield just to be like shinked off with her bracelet. Now, man, you're not gonna convince me that's not cool. I'm not there yet in my life.
Right. Well,
I may see you one day, but I'm not there yet.
We were at a time in our lives. We were at a certain impressionable age when The Matrix came out, and apparently Warner Brothers has never gotten past it either. Like, I will always love bullet time.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers made the Matrix movies, and they've been obsessed with bullet time ever since.
It worked out well for them.
And it still looks cool to me.
It still does.
Now, I will say though, and I didn't even put it in the news because it wasn't that big of a deal to me. Someone actually did, they made a copy of the Wonder Woman trailer. They just sped up the parts to where it was like in real time. All of the bullet time. Still looked great.
I'll bet.
I don't know. I kind of in places liked it better, in other places I didn't. And I'm not saying I just, it wasn't like the trailer that they were acting like it was going to be. But I even enjoyed the little Donner reference, which she like grabbed the bullet in the alleyway. Like, all right, nice, okay.
I particularly liked the batting away like 5 bullets in a row, followed by she's a really good secretary.
Yeah,
I think little moments like that
cool.
are gonna like make this film have a little. It's gonna be a little more fun, I think. And what we've been made to be.
It looks fun. It looks fun to me. Like the part that actually bothered me the most, though, was the big like nondescript thing at the end that was just like clearly like here's the big bullshit that we're going to have to fight at the end of the movie, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me doomsday feelings from the Batman v Superman second trailer. And I went, oh, it hurts. Don't do this to me again, guys. Come on, please. Because while I love Batman v Superman, I really do, like, especially the extended edition. But that movie does kind of fall apart at the end, like every movie does. But it falls apart a little bit more than I want it to. With those special effects and with the way they kind of like, oh, by the way, here's the big monster to fight at the end. I don't give a shit about monsters. Give me something I care about.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but if that had been your movie, like Batman and Superman just would have had like a 30 minutes worth of conversation at the end of that movie instead of doing where like at the 25-minute mark, Lex would have wandered in and they would have talked it out.
No.
Like would have been really interesting conversation, but no punching would have gotten done.
I don't know what would have happened, but it would have, if I had been in charge of that movie, I don't know what would have happened, but it wouldn't have been Doomsday.
I could get behind that. It's too obvious for me. We wanted something
then again,
a little neat, but
you know, I do like the idea of Superman having to sacrifice himself. I don't know. It's a tough road home, man. I'm not trying to take it out of Zack Snyder for making that call.
We should move on, but it's a thought I've had recently. I enjoyed it in the moment, but the more and more more time I've had with it, I just keep being annoyed by like it's a cool shot, you know, those two lying together. But we already knew Justice League was here, and it just didn't accomplish anything for me. Like even watching it that night, I felt bad. Like I even with the Amazing Grace scenes, I was feeling something, but it wasn't like I was going into tears because Superman was done.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, he'll come back.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's not even that. Just like even still watching like Star Trek 2 when you know that Spock's coming back in search for Spock.
Yeah.
Like you still like shed a tear because it means something a lot more. It feels like. I'm not saying that like what they intended wasn't really meaningful and makes a lot of sense. It does.
It just seemed like a false.
Man, there was something missing, wasn't there? There was something missing.
They really just should have done what everyone else was saying. Like, why not just have Lois like bring Batman the thing and he gets in? That would have been a real like a true note. I'd hate to see Amy Adams go, but have her get close enough to get somebody else the spear and get killed in the meantime. Nobody's coming back.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be the false note of like losing Superman before a Justice League movie. Anyway,
so you know the part in the Wonder Woman trailer where it looks like the Amazon is leaping and then it looks like she's gonna get shot, actually get hit. That actress Mayling has confirmed that her role is Orana.
I don't remember Orana
in Wonder Woman.
Refresh me.
So
I don't remember her. Do you?
Yeah, I think she was that red-headed Amazon that challenged Diana and actually kind of beat her for a minute and became Wonder Woman. And I think she got killed like pretty much directly after. So no great loss. I mean, she's one of those characters that's going to be like
the Amazons.
She's gonna, yeah, I do too. But apparently she's there as before World War I. One of the Amazons there with Diana.
Yeah, it very much makes it look
in
like
the early years.
Diana's choice to go back and fix man's world has something to do with it affecting her world finally.
I wish I was, better at remembering the Amazons.
There's a whole island of them. Not. Come on, give us some slack.
I'm just not. Rupert Gregson Williams is working on the Wonder Woman score. He's revealed. This is a guy that scored The Legend of Tarzan, Hacksaw Ridge, and Netflix's The Crown. He says, I'm working on Warner Brothers and DC Comics Wonder Woman, which looks amazing. Now, a site that no one ever gave a shit about or heard of, FlickReel, is saying that Wonder Woman is to have reshoots. It says this week we have exclusively learned, actually they said learnt, 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 that whilst the film wrapped in May, the cast and crew are heading back for reshoots in around 2 weeks' time. Wouldn't worry about this. Every movie has reshoots. Like, literally every movie has reshoots. And because the internet has got it stuck in its head, in its collective, ridiculous head, that reshoots mean that a movie's gonna suck, everyone's, crying foul now. And I wouldn't worry about it. Every movie has reshoots.
Most of the time, it's you get a reshoot. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of times where you get the reshoot because you think something didn't come off right. But as much as it can be about story, it can also just be about, man, this scene would look so much better if we could just do this thing. Like, you learn a lesson about how you shot it, and you think, oh man, come on, studio, just give me a little bit more money to go hit this up again. It'll totally be worth it. And sometimes they do. You go reshoot this little thing, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, the post-production process is like, it looks vastly different from what you're doing in the middle of the actual filming. Sometimes you get to the end of that and think, we can't fix this in post. We need to do this again. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I wouldn't get up in arms about it.
No.
It might not, even me going, I didn't like the trailer as much as I wanted to. I'm not, reshoots don't mean anything.
No.
Not really. Not anymore.
Not in today's world.
Especially not in tentpole movies.
No, yeah. They're willing to throw tons of money at this. I mean, DC's just throwing, like, that. They have money just arriving like on their doorstep in terms of, they're measuring it in Brinks trucks at this point. They're going to throw a few back at some reshoots, no problems.
Kevin Tsujihara says he's seen Wonder Woman. He was actually talking about the overall narrative of Warner Brothers at this point. He says, quietly, we've been having an amazing year. The narrative overall has not reflected that.
But quietly, Brinks trucks.
Yeah. Yes, Brinks trucks. He did remind the interviewer that Dawn of Justice and Suicide Squad collected a combined $1.6 billion worldwide. He says people overlook our consistency. Well, I don't think so. They just say you're consistently bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but they say that.
Yeah.
I say so far, I would say consistently okay. Like, pretty good.
I'm consistently pretty delighted when I leave.
Yeah.
I am also, I admit, consistently puzzled by a few decisions, but...
Absolutely.
It's a giant franchise, and that's bound to happen.
At the end of the day, I'm a 33-year-old comic book fan who never thought he'd see these things on the screen, on the big screen, so...
Yep.
Ah.
Giggling is in order. I mean, you're getting a Wonder Woman film after, like, 76 years of getting screwed. Come on. Those are good days. Those are good days.
He talks about how confident he is, though, that they've put in Jeff Johns and John Berg as executive producers. He said that, with any luck, even a critic or two could come around. He says the thing that really makes me confident is that I've seen Wonder Woman and it's great. So they went on to talk at length about various things with Warner Brothers, including Fantastic Beasts and where to find them and where they're going as a company. It all just bored me. So I'm not talking about that. I don't know how else to put it. It was boring.
I did a quick scroll, didn't see the names of any characters out of door, and moved on.
And, this will be one of those things where, like, something he said in that interview that I bypassed, like, Suicide Squad cast will catch, and no one else caught it either, and they'll, like, get all this recognition.
Right.
That's fine. That's why I listen to their show.
Yeah.
But this seemed to me like it was just
into
like...
that interview, he was like, oh yeah, and we just totally cast Mirror Master yesterday, and blah, 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 blah,
right.
blah, blah, blah.
Right. Some kind of bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? This very much just seemed like Kevin Tsujihara being like, we made lots of money, and here are all of nice words that make you think that we care about the
anything
the
other than making
direction.
lots of money.
And maybe they do. Someone has to on some level. I don't think it's him.
There have to be a few people employed there that really genuinely care about the product. It's just that most of the time there's enough people that care about the money that they kind of rein in those people when necessary, when they think money might be at stake.
I don't think it's him. I don't think he's the person that cares about the creativity of it. I would doubt if he's seen most of the movies that they make.
That would be sad.
I just do. I think he's seen, all the DC movies.
That would be sad. I mean,
because they're huge tentpoles. Of course, he's got to see those.
Watching like every movie that comes out in an industry, yeah, I get you. I mean, that's a lot of time. But just watching yours, that seems like good, solid, a reasonable amount of homework.
Hey,
now that we've accused this man of not doing his reasonable amount of homework,
I'm not going to hate on him for it because honestly, I don't listen to every podcast we do.
Not even close.
I don't listen to like almost any of them.
But to be fair, we were there. So
we were there. We were there. That's
takes a lot of time to do the other stuff, though.
So Clay Enos, the wonderful photographer, has released close-ups of Cara Delevingne, however you say her name, as June Moon, and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Wonderful portrait shots. Guy always does a really... I could probably be pretty happy putting nothing but his photography up, like, all over my house for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I could decorate a room.
Greg Silverman was recently... He's the president of creative development and worldwide production over at Warner Brothers. He was at the Variety Inclusion Summit. He says he was talking about how he feels like Suicide Squad owes a lot of its success to diversity. Bear with me because he doesn't. Well, he speaks like I do. I'm sorry. He says, I feel like our movies have to be more diverse in front of and behind the camera for a complete business imperative. That the movies that we make that are more diverse and have a more world-viewed voice behind them are more successful. And the first one, where we really pushed it, was Suicide Squad. And look, it's the most successful piece of original intellectual property in film of the year. Having Hispanic leads and multiple African-American leads and strong women in the cast and having a voice. Now he happens to be a Caucasian guy, but he's from South Central and had a real intense passion for that Diablo character that Jay played. I don't know who the hell he's talking about. I thought that character was a real heart for the movie. And my favorite performance out of all the amazing performances is Viola, who the whole movie works because she is so fierce. And so having that diversity made us play worldwide, all ages and all different kinds of people. That's what we want. As many people buying tickets as being moved by our content and being moved by our content as possible. I believe that last line is the truth. The rest of it, I feel like, was lip service, but hey, it's nice lip service.
Here's exactly what I have to say about that. Here's my opinion on all that. Nothing. I'm a white guy, unqualified to talk about diversity. If great, good. I hope he's good for him.
Right? Well, so is he. But you know what?
I choose not to speak about it because, God forbid, there's no way I'm going to get that viewpoint right. So there are things I defer on, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it was news. I felt like we probably needed to say something about it. I don't have much of an opinion on it. I think the diversity probably does help it. I would assume.
In theory, it's nice to be able to have someone that everybody can relate to. That's about as opinionated as I can get on it. It seems like a good idea to have relatable people. It's about as good as I can go. That very strong opinion I just expressed.
I don't know how you have a strong opinion about this. Yeah, that makes sense from a business standpoint. It absolutely does. Mm-hmm. Moving on to Justice League. Ciaran Hinds has been cast as Steppenwolf in Justice League. Justice League. This is a cat that was on Game of Thrones, Frozen, Road to Perdition, Harry Potter, Munich, a whole bunch of stuff. Cool. Chops, people. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Now, Steppenwolf, in case you don't know, he's the uncle, right-hand man of Darkseid. Depending on your canon, he's been killed numerous times. He pretty much conquered Earth 2 in the comics recently. Times. Sure. At some point,
Darkseid just died a few months ago, for God's sake.
I don't know. But he came back as a baby, didn't he?
He did come back as a wee Darkseid. A wee Darkseid. He's your little Darkseid.
He was only Greyside back then.
Yeah.
But no, this is a guy that he's touts immortality. He's got superhuman physical attributes. He's a great warrior, weapon master, expert military leader and tactician, electro-axe, expert swordsman. Yes, I read all of those things off of Wikipedia.
Sure.
Sue me.
They make great synopses over there.
They do.
Yay, crowdsourcing.
Yeah. So, he's going to be a badass. And
he's just all around kind of a god badass, like a lot of the people around that side of town.
Mm-hmm. So, Justin Kroll at Variety, a journalist at Variety, let us in on the fact that Kiersey Clemmons is already in Justice League as Iris West. He says she shot her Justice League cameo and already signed a deal to reprise her role in The Flash. So that's happening. Mm-hmm. Everyone wondering about whether or not she was leaving after Rick Famuyiwa left the Flash.
She expressed some discontent, I
rest
believe.
Easy. Oh, she did. She did express discontent over that. She says Rick was one of the main reasons I wanted to do the movie. So him not being a part of it is obviously very upsetting to me. All I can do is give it up to the gods. Let's see what happens. Let's see who's going to jump in.
In the context she's in, when she says gods, it just feels very, very in-house. Like the new gods?
No, I think she's just kind of being hippy-dippy.
I'm sure she is. It's just that in the context of where she is, my first thought is like, why would you give it to Darkseid? Oh, never mind. Real people having actual thoughts. Gotcha. Back to Earth.
I don't know, man.
I do that a lot. Sorry.
It's okay. So Ezra Miller was asked, what?
I finally remember the first time I ever drove through. There's a place in like either North or South Carolina called Batcave. Like the city's named Batcave.
Sure.
And it was everything I had not to pull the car over and just live there for the rest of my life.
All right.
Sorry.
So moving on.
Speaking of not being able to differentiate reality, that's my story.
It's a hell of a story, buddy.
I know.
Ezra Miller. He was in an interview, and it was a really fun interview. A lot of it was about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. And I've just kind of cropped segments out and put it throughout this news episode. He was asked about how they create the Flash moments in Justice League. He says, sometimes they make me run, which I was outraged because I thought, playing the Flash, this will be great. You can't see him running, so this will be easy. No, Ezra, we need you to run. We have this enormous treadmill that's called, I think, the Tumblelator. That's like 25 feet long, goes 45 miles per hour, and it's bouncy like a trampoline. Pretty much a dream come true. Then they strap me into a harness. We do all sorts of stuff. What we're creating is a vocabulary where choreography meets visual effects, and what we're trying to implement is a wide diversity of tactics of how we create these moments. And a lot of the Flash is his perception. And he goes on to talk about how they're utilizing a lot of the perception moments, like we saw in the Justice League trailer, where he, goes into slow motion. He's actually in real time moving like a normal person would, but everything around him is super slow. Mm-hmm. Of course, he illustrates this by talking about someone who's talking and eating, and a solitary crumb comes flying out of their mouth towards your face, and to you it's going in slow motion, like you could see it, like every frame of the crumb coming at you. And he also talks about how in the interview how they have a lot of great geeky physics questions, like, well, if he's running this fast, shouldn't he be sweating? No, the sweat would evaporate immediately. A lot of fun.
Oh yeah, he's a lot of fun to have physics conversations about. Mm-hmm. If you talk long enough about him, he's basically impossible.
Mm-hmm. He says they're marching forth on the Flash without the director. On what a new Flash director needs, he says, I think the most important quality is the open heart. I think that the Flash has to be a story that is heartfelt, because I think that's where the lightning really is.
Well put.
Specifically on the shakeup. Specifically on the shakeup, he says these processes are complicated, and I think it can, from afar, appear to be, as you say, something interpersonal or dramatic. That is rarely the case. These are groups of people taking the development of projects extremely seriously, and the teams are changing all the time. There's often a lot of flux in who the team of the production of a film is before that production starts, and in this case, you hear about it because it's a critical figure. The directors that have been coming on and leaving, for me, is sort of a tragic relay race, and we've had a couple really incredible people carry this baton, and their marks are left on that baton, and the work that they've given to the project will certainly be represented in whatever the final product comes to be. On how he's been developing the character, he says, I've been investigating and composing the character since the moment I started considering doing the screen test. Fortunately, a lot of that research is extremely fun and involves reading Flash comics or other comics from the world of DC, The Brave and the Bold, and I'm really interested in the early stuff, and some of my favorite stuff is Silver Age, even the Golden Age and the Jay Garrick stuff, the original Flash. It's just so fascinating, so endlessly compelling. It's such an incredible setup for exploration. All these fascinating concepts in physics, in mysticism, in fantasy. He can go anywhere. He's that figure of the DC pantheon who transcends the realms, sort of like Hermes or Mercury before him in the respective Greek and Roman mythologies that the character's creator, Gardner Fox, clearly very much based him on.
God,
and he spoke a little bit about...
He's got a fun job. I like how he talks about it.
Uh-huh. And he also talks about Jeff Johns, the DC Films chief creative officer.
Mm-hmm. Our savior.
He says, He says, yes, he's a good guy to have around. He keeps us full of information, and he keeps us from making ignorant mistakes that would upset the fans across the world, because you pretty much can't get someone with a deeper knowledge of this universe than Jeff Johns.
That is my understanding. He is a walking encyclopedia.
They asked him about the script for The Flash. He says, I've had glimpses of various points in the development of it, and I'm extremely excited. So, yeah, there you go. Ezra Miller stuff.
Yeah, you remember when we weren't sold on that guy, and then he just kept talking, and after a while we're like, you know what? He's more excited about this film than I am. Fuck it, man. Go crazy.
Well, you know what? I had seen him in The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fine in that movie. I enjoyed that movie. I liked the novel. It was directed by the same guy who wrote the book.
Mm-hmm.
And that was awesome. So I couldn't really bitch that the characters didn't fit the writer's description.
It's fair.
But I was like, okay, maybe. But I was just, no, Grant Gustin just became the Flash.
That was where
Come
a lot
on,
of
guys.
it, yeah, that was where a lot of it stemmed from, was like, we were like, he's doing a great job. Why would you take this from him?
But it had to be pretty early on in our run of doing this show that there was an interview that Ezra Miller did, where like the first thing out of his mouth in reference to the Flash was that he had this vision of he and Grant Gustin meeting each other in the Speed Force, and I was just like, all right, I'm sold.
That was the turning point, I think. That was the turning point.
This dude's already talking about Flash.
He's already talking about like multiverses, and we're like, okay, yep, all right.
He's been cast all of like a month, and he's already talking about meeting Grant in the Speed Force, and I'm like, all right, dude, let's do this. So over to Aquaman. Jason Momoa apparently thought he was going to be Lobo when Zack Snyder wanted to talk to him.
I saw that and thought, oh man, he would have made a great Lobo.
He would have. He says, dude, there was a lot of things that went through my head when he said Aquaman. There were a lot of things that went through my mind. I was thinking like Lobo. I'm going to play some kind of bad guy. I'm like, who am I going to play? And yeah, he said Aquaman. And I was just like, come again? Pardon me? And then he explained why. And I was like, whoa, buddy, I got your back.
Have you seen my hair? I thought I was here to be a bad guy. I'm confused.
Yeah. He was also asked if if the underwater kissing scenes with Amber Heard proved to be a challenge, and he says, nah, they're easy, bro. So,
I'm going to call bollocks on that one. That just sounds too hard.
It's probably. But Aquaman does start pre-production this month, apparently, according to people. I can't remember who it was now. I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. Anyway, the cast and crew are heading to the Gold Coast, and actually, this is just where Thor Ragnarok stopped filming. They're like Aquaman is literally waiting for Thor Ragnarok to tear down their sets and whatnot and get the hell out so they can go in and film their shit for Aquaman at Village Roadshow Studios on the Gold Coast. So
that's funny.
Pre-production is about to happen, guys, this month.
Get your shit together, Marvel. I'm trying to make a film here.
Okay, so I don't know. A lot of people are pissed off about this.
Why not?
I've even had people like come at me and they're like, yelling at me because apparently I'm an asshole for posting news. Bret Easton Ellis, Less Than Zero, American Psycho, you know this guy. He's an author. He published a piece for The Ringer called "Movies Aren't Dead, But They'll Never Be the Same."
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he said. They were just telling me that there are serious problems with the script for Ben Affleck's Batman. He says, and that the executives I was having dinner with were complaining about people who work on the Batman movie. And they just said that they went to the studio and they said, look, the script is, here's 30 things that are wrong with it that we can fix. And the executive said, we don't care. We don't really care. The amount of money we're going to make globally, 70% of our audience is not going to be seeing this in English. And it doesn't really matter. These things that you're bringing up about the flaws of the script. So I do think global concerns play a big part in how movies and what movies are being made, obviously. Okay. Everyone started getting pissed off, talking about how it was a rumor. He said, they said. And I posted that news, and I started getting some people coming back at me. Some of them really nice, really polite, saying, oh, it was debunked. So others just belligerent. But here's the thing. It wasn't debunked. Bret Easton Ellis actually just reiterated it He, like, and all these, like, headlines are saying, oh, he walked back his statements. He didn't, though. This is what he published in response to the negative backlash. He says, during a long interview with The Ringer's Sean Fennessy, we talked about reasons why studio movies are so bad now and touched on the global needs of the marketplace. I told him something I had heard about the new Batman movie as an example of what might be the problem. I was talking with two executives who have nothing to do with the Batman movie and who knew people who were involved with the production, as we already stated, as he said. The two executives I was having dinner with were relating the problems they had heard about the script from people working on the Batman project. That's all. I know no one involved with the Batman movie, and I didn't realize that my comments would make it into the Ringer piece, or else I wouldn't have cited that particular movie. I have no idea what the Batman script is like, and I regret that it came off as if I was disparaging the project. Another reason to be careful giving interviews. But he didn't debunk anything. He's standing by his story.
All he did was, as far as walking back, all he did was say, no. Let me reiterate. This was a secondhand. No, I didn't hear even firsthand that there are problems. I didn't watch this conversation happen. I just heard some guy say something about a thing he heard.
Yeah, this is Bret Easton Ellis basically saying, hey, asshole, stop reading headlines and actually read what was said. Yeah, that makes sense. And you know the craziest part about this is it may be true. And even if it is, there's a possibility that somebody that's concerned about making, the tightest script ever said, look, there's like these little things, just little stuff here and someone went, you know what? You're not wrong. It's just, anyone can bring me 30 plot points about any movie that's considered good. Right.
And that's not worth the money. I'm sorry. You're right, but it's not worth the money.
Look, here's the thing, though.
Could be reasonable like that, or it could just literally be that those executives were making up, like, they were just telling a generic story and bringing up something that was current, because people do that when they do shit like that.
And, okay, my concern isn't the executives, as I just said with Wonder Woman. My concern is the people lower than the executives who are actually doing the thing. Ben Affleck is writing the script, not a couple of executives. No, they don't care. They care about money. That's all they care about. That's what their concern is. They know they're going to make that movie. Yes, Suicide Squad. Yes, Batman v Superman probably left a couple of $100 million on the table because they weren't up to snuff. And I enjoyed them, but they weren't the best thing ever. Yeah, I'm a little worried that this is going to be a continuing trend. A little bit. But at the same time, these aren't the people that are really in charge of making the movie. These are the people in charge of bitching about, budget cuts and bitching about, people going overboard on their production and micromanaging crap. I mean, they're not going to care about if the plot makes all the sense in the world or not. They just don't. That's got to be all the other people like Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it's sad. Not sad. It's inspiring. That's entirely the wrong word. I can't believe I'm at the point where I trust that Ben Affleck wouldn't put out a shoddy movie. That he wouldn't give them a shoddy script that had just a giant, clip's worth of plot holes in it.
You couldn't believe he would do that?
Not an absolute mess, for God's sake. Anybody can hand in a script that's got a few things wrong with it, but not, a dumpster fire.
Well, look,
and that's the problem with the headlines, is that the fucking clickbait headlines made it sound like it was a dumpster fire.
Right.
And everyone plays into an existing narrative where people think that's what's going on already. So you read that, you never even read the article because it plays into the narrative you already believed.
Yeah, and I want to, again, reiterate myself that I don't dislike Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad. Enjoyed the hell out of both of them, but they weren't perfect, is all I'm saying.
No.
And they're getting shit on unfairly. They are getting shit on unfairly. And I can't imagine that any movie, you couldn't pick apart any movie. You totally could. Anything. And just, we have huge YouTube channels that are dedicated to doing nothing but picking apart wonderful movies.
Honest trailers and how it should have ended do wonderful work with movies that we adore.
I put off watching the Avengers Honest trailer forever because I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
It's perfect. I want it to be perfect forever. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Right. So.
And then I did watch it, and it was funny, and they were kind of right about a couple things, but it was okay, absolutely. And we all lived. And it's still
there were a few things that I was happy that I had
good movie.
Yeah. There were things I was happy that I thought I had noticed. I was like, nah, maybe I'm crazy. No one else in the world noticed this. And they're just like, why are Captain America and the Avengers just pressing their ear without any technology there and communicating with each other?
You're okay.
Damn it.
I knew it.
I knew
that was weird.
So anyway.
And even me, I'm over here going, yep, biological implant. You going to tell me Stark can't do that? Fuck it, move on. Next.
Right? Ant-Man's a whole other problem.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just move away. Just move. Anyway, going over to Man of Steel 2. Amy Adams did confirm Man of Steel 2, though she said she heard about it at the same time everyone else did. She said, I read about Man of Steel 2 when you guys did. A lot of times I find out after the fact, which is fine. It's completely normal. It's not indicative of anything, which the way she said it kind of makes it feel like it is a little bit, but it probably isn't. She said, I know they're working on a script, and I know it's in the works apparently. So there's that. That's the movie news that I've got for this week.
Well, cool.
That's the movie news. On to our giveaway, our iTunes written review giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
We have some more reviews. I think all of them this week are from other countries. I've figured out, because I'm really busy, don't have a lot of time to mess around with this stuff. Grabbed a little time, started figuring out how to get the RSS feeds from the other reviews on iTunes from other countries. And so that's the 3 reviews that we have. Some are a little old, and I'm sorry. And I'll still be trying to put, I know there are probably others. I'm still trying to get, because they're like 126, 127, something like that. Gotcha. Countries that you can grab from iTunes. Gotcha. It might take a minute, but so here we go with some of our, and clearly not all of those countries are going to have reviews, because most of them aren't English speaking, but anyway.
So, that being said, many apologies to anyone who we didn't get around to getting your review.
Many apologies. It is being rectified, and it will be rectified.
Feel free to let us know specifically.
Absolutely. If that is a thing, if that has happened to you, let us know specifically.
Email works in all countries.
So, it does. Flister10 from Great Britain says, awesome, what else can anyone say? Brightens up my boring workday. I sit at my desk chuckling away to myself. Both presenters are fab and have great chemistry. Recommend to all comic book fans. Stuart M323 says, completely amazing, hilarious, and informative. If you're a fan of all things DC, then this is the podcast for you. The hosts are hilarious and know a lot about comics, so you get a little bit of extra information and possible ideas of where the films/shows could be heading. The news podcasts are great for people who want to know what's coming up in the DC universe without having to look at 5 or 6 different articles. It's all here in a neat podcast bundle. Great podcast, guys. Keep it up. Jack Elk in Canada says, good podcast, just got into it and I like it. Not my favorite, probably just because it's not my first, but a good podcast to get into for the DC fans, especially for those who like CW. So all 3 of those guys, I don't know about the not my favorite thing.
I can't even deal with that. I like that. Candor, and that's candor.
That is candor. You know what? You won me over.
Appreciate it, man.
But thank you guys for those great reviews. You have been entered into the 3rd giveaway, of which we need 4 more reviews. So get to cracking on those 5-star written reviews on iTunes. 1 out of 10 will win a free DC trade paperback, DVD, or Blu-ray of your choice, valued at $15 or less. So that is it for the DCEU news for this week. We will come back with DC TV news. Hooray! In just a moment. So thanks to Christopher White, Randall Smith, Jason Smith for your contributions for this show. We love when you guys send us stuff.
Every time.
We are DC On Screen. You can find every episode DCOnScreen.com. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Stitcher, Google Play. We are everywhere, guys. We are proud members of the Giant Size Team Up Network, GiantSizeTeamUp.com for all those amazing shows, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, the host of which, Matt Carroll. Without him, we would not be doing this podcast episode because we would still be waiting for technology to come in.
Literally did not have an option.
So thank you.
You would not believe what I had to do to get
Sir Matt.
Even the episodes that we got this weekend.
That just made it sound like Matt forced you to do something sexual against your will.
Matt, bless him, had slightly more mercy than that.
Okay. Oh, phew.
All he forced me to do was drive to his home.
Oh, no.
I know. It was drastic. Drives a hard bargain, that one.
All right, guys. We're going to take off and then start up this DC TV news episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, guys, keep some DC on your screen.